Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and how are you doing today? I hope things are really well with you and that you are having a nice weekend. I just want to make a quick announcement because on Sunday, October 20th, 2019, at 6 a.m. Tokyo time, it'll be my pleasure to be able to discuss with you a very interesting and special film for a live stream film club chat. So once again, October 20th, 2019, Sunday, 6 a.m. Tokyo time. So wherever you are in the world, please double check to see what time that is in your neck of the woods. But for me, it'll be 6 a.m. Tokyo time. The film that I will be discussing with you, and it'll be so interesting to hear your thoughts about, is this film, Kwaidan. In Japanese, the title is Kwaidan. It's known here as Kwaidan. And this is the 183-minute version, which is the current Blu-ray release from the Criterion Collection. And it's a very long film, but it's an anthology sort of horror film. But I think it's very nuanced and complex in terms of its presentation. So hopefully we can get into aspects of its presentation in the live stream film club chat. So I'm really much looking forward to hearing your thoughts about this particular film, Kwaidan. It should be very interesting, and hopefully you might be willing to share your thoughts and comments about this. I'd love to hear what it is you have to think about this quite remarkable and amazing work of art. So that's the plan for Sunday, October 20th at 6 a.m. Tokyo time. So for me, actually, that's tomorrow, given the recording of this video, which is a Saturday. I'll be waking up early tomorrow morning, and it'll be my pleasure to talk to you about this. I should let you know that this has been released by Criterion before. Here is the older DVD, still Spine 90. This is the 161-minute version as opposed to the now current release from Criterion, which is the more complete 183-minute version. So this is the earlier release from Criterion, and here is yet another earlier release from Criterion. Again, here is the shorter version, 160-odd-minute version of the film, but this is from the Criterion Laserdisc days. And oh boy, what an interesting presentation that is. But what I would like to do for the purposes of the live stream is to talk about the film in the context of the 180 some odd minute version. So if you can get that, that's the one I recommend. Although I don't think for purposes of my discussion it'll be absolutely necessary to have you don't necessarily have to worry about the differences between the two versions, because that's not going to be one of my primary focuses of the live stream. But it might be interesting for you to watch more than one version if you have the opportunity to. But for purposes of this conversation, let me say that the current release from Criterion, which is the Blu-ray, is a really good new 2K restoration of the film. So you're getting a really beautiful presentation of the work. You're also getting the film with an audio commentary by Japanese film scholar Stephen Prince, and that is a really good commentary because he goes into the background of the film, Kobayashi, the director, his own background and his biography, his very interesting biography, and he goes into the details of that. And in the context of his film career, he also talks about Kobayashi's film career in general. And in many ways, Kwaidan is, I think, an atypical film in the context of Kobayashi's film career. Kobayashi, I think, is known, generally speaking, for being a filmmaker who inserts a lot of social commentary and maybe criticism of certain class structures and power structures in Japan. So perhaps Kwaidan in many ways can be seen as being a departure from that approach. But I think in many ways it can also be seen as being very consistent with with his career up to now. So there is anyway, those aspects that Stephen Prince talks about very astutely in his commentary. And he also talks about the composition of the frame and certain camera movements and the like. So highly recommended if you haven't had a chance to listen. So that's the Stephen Prince commentary. And then there's an interview from 1993 with the director himself. And this is really great. And it's actually conducted by another great Japanese filmmaker called Masahiro Shinoda. So you've got two filmmakers, and the focus is on Kobayashi. And really great, interesting discussion about, again, background information. There's a particular story that the director gives about his attempts of getting dry ice for purposes of the production of the film, which is a really funny and interesting anecdote that he provides. It's an example of how insightful and illuminating the interview is. It's really great. And then there is an interview with Kiyoshi Ogasawara, who is the assistant director of the film. And Ogasawara is really good here because he provides, again, more production details about the film and the film production and Kobayashi's approach as he saw it. And also he provides details about his role as an assistant director and the like. But he also gives a very insightful interpretation as to the meaning of the film, the structure of the film, why these particular stories by Lafcadio Hearn were selected for the final film script that eventually became the film Kwaidan. And so he has an interesting take on what the unifying theme could be in terms of interpreting the work as a whole. And I think his take is really quite fascinating. It's something that I hope to try to talk about tomorrow in the live stream. So again, this is Kiyoshi Ogasawara's great interview on the Blu-ray of Kwaidan. Really worth checking out. And then there is a piece which is talking about Lafcadio Hearn and his history and biography, and also his the background with respect to the certain stories that were selected for purposes of Kwaidan. It's really interesting. You know, I've had the opportunity of reading a number of Hearn's works, and they are really fascinating. And one of the things that's really fascinating here is just noting the way in which they were developed, the kinds of stories that were elaborated upon, and the idea of storytelling itself as an effective medium, which is, I think, a focus of this particular film itself. You know, the act of storytelling and the power of storytelling, whether it be the power to move lives or to change lives for the better or for the worse, depending on one's point of view. So I think that's one aspect that hopefully we can also try to talk about during the live stream discussing this film on the 20th of October. So, but again, the piece on Lafcadio Hearn and his background is also very interesting and worth checking out. So, and then there are trailers, and there's an essay by Jeffrey O'Brien in the booklet, and then there is a new English subtitle translation with respect to this film. So, in general, my friends, I would say that it is a long film, but it is one that is, I think, easily digestible in the sense that it is an anthology work that is comprised of 4 stories. And I think each story is very approachable in terms of the narrative arcs that are displayed and the like. There is a slightly different approach. It is a horror film that maybe feels in many ways quite similar to so-called maybe Western style horror films, but also it has a very different feel, and one that hopefully I can try to talk about and hear your thoughts about during the live stream. I think there are some points that are worth mentioning. In particular, there are some points about the film and the stories that point to, for instance, certain things about Japanese history, Japanese literature, and the literary tradition that is on display here. Certain aspects about formalities in Japanese customs and also cultural implications and the like. There are also some questions about power structures and authorities, which I think goes to the heart of maybe Kobayashi's philosophy as a filmmaker and his intent in terms of his works over the course of his entire career. And so therefore I think Kwaidan is in many ways very fitting in the context of Kobayashi and his overall oeuvre, if you will. So there are a lot of things. Of course included in that is the presentation, the style, the way in which the stories are connected. If we can find some ways to connect the stories to see if there's some kind of thematic consistency that we might be able to identify, I think that would be really interesting. I have a few ideas myself, but of course I would love to hear your thoughts as well about that. And other things as well, the visual presentation, the style, the use of stages and sets versus the use of actual settings, and how natural settings sometimes give way to more artificial settings and the like, and how those contrasts create a certain sense of dread or fear, or what other feelings are conjured up in the minds and the hearts of the viewers. And so I think a lot can be discussed with this film, a lot. So will be my pleasure to try to bring up as many topics of conversation that I can, and hopefully that will start some conversations elsewhere. So, my friends, once again, October 20th, 2019, Sunday. It'll be 6 a.m. Tokyo time. So wherever you are in the world, please check to see what time that is for you. And it'll be my pleasure to have a live stream film club chat with you, and to hear what it is you have to say about this very intriguing work of art. This is the film Kwaidan. Okay, my friends, so that's it for now. So until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great films. So hopefully I will see some of you at the live stream film club chat. If I can't see you, if you are busy and you're unable to attend, don't worry, because the discussion after it's over live, it will then be uploaded to the YouTube channel automatically, so you can catch it after the fact. So not a problem at all, my friends, not a problem at all. Whatever works for your schedule. And with that, my friends, please enjoy the rest of your schedule today and the days to come. Until we meet again, cheers.